or a special year. And tonight I've decided to start with a special year. And the year I've picked is 1928. So 1928, the first east-west transatlantic flight took place flying from Casemount Airdrome in Dublin, about 15 kilometres from where I am, to Greenlee Island in Canada. In 1928, Herbert Hoover won the US election, and he was becoming the 31st President of the United States. Here in Ireland, the first Irish coinage was started in December 1928 to add to the coins that were introduced previously. And the first Irish team going under the tricolour as an Irish team themselves started in the Olympics, and Pat O'Connor of Cork took gold in the hammer. The two other events in 1928. Firstly, English golfer Ernest Whitcomb won the Irish Open by 4 strokes on the links of Royal County Down. And secondly, a lady called Dorothy Gleeson was born. Dorothy would later go on and marry Mark Clinton, and they had 7 children, including the founding member of this club and immediate past president, David. Dorothy was a true blue in the sporting sense. She was a fervent supporter of Dublin GAA, and she was thrilled to see Dublin beat arch rivals Kerry at the end of July last, winning the Sam Maguire Cup. And she also rejoiced as recently as last Sunday, when the Dublin ladies did the same to win the Ladies' Championship. Gentle, loving, special, great, unique. These are just some of the words written in the condolences online that paint the picture of a truly wonderful woman. So for Dorothy Clinton, on behalf of Toastmasters for Golf, may you rest in peace. I'll ask you all for a minute's reflection in her honour. Thank you, and I will now pass on to our Toastmaster for tonight, Mr. Larry Lyons.
Thank you, Peter, our Sergeant at Arms, and thank you for them kind words towards David's mum, who has passed away. And of course, it's a very sad time indeed for David. And we men think we can run the household, but I think the mother is the anchor of any home. And it's going to be a huge loss. And David was very fond of her. Anytime I was in his company, he was always kindly talking about her. So rest in peace, Dorothy, indeed. So tonight we have a fairly full program, and we'll try and get through it in as speedily as we can in a timely fashion. That's what we're known for in Toastmasters. And tonight our theme is fairways to confidence, and hopefully everybody will land on the fairway and progress to confidence after tonight's meeting. And that's what Toastmasters does to us. We help each other to get out of the rough and onto the fairway. And our word of the night is ability, as picked by Pascal. So Pascal will explain that later. So before I proceed with the structure of the meeting, I would like to call on Ronan to play the recording from our president, who cannot be with us in person. So Ronan, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster. Here we go.
Dear fellow Toastmasters, welcome to our monthly meeting. We are stepping ahead step by step, moving from the driving range to the fairways now, and indeed to very special fairways, the fairways to confidence. Many, many times now, we have backed down to put that ball on that tee over and over again, practicing that swing of ours, aiming at 1 o'clock to get that ball straight on course. After all that work, it's time to see now how we have improved, to let that ball fly like we want to rush from frustration to inspiring confidence. adds up like Toastmasters for Golf, because we are truly a mighty bunch of self-confident gentlemen. And in this spirit, I would like to welcome our new member, Dennis Stone. I hope he may bring excitement and the X factor to the Toastmasters for Golf this year. In addition, I wish the Toastmasters for Golf Society good luck at Kinsale and Cole. Furthermore, I want to say congratulations to Jerry Dunn for his level 3 award and David Clinton for his level 4. However, David Clinton cannot be here with us tonight due to the passing just 2 days ago of his beloved mother, Mrs. Dorothy Clinton. But it was the wish of our past president that we honor her during our meeting this Friday, and I'm more than eager to do so. In fact, I had the chance to meet her in person. In 1993, I was a student for the very first time in Ireland, looking for David, marching through wet meadows with torn jeans, in fact, reaching the Clinton residency with wet boots and knocking at the door, where Mrs. Clinton, after reassuring the stranger, gave me shelter, warm-heartedly. I could feel how the house was filled with her kind presence. Therefore, it is easy for me to understand what an irreplaceable loss has occurred to the Clinton family. I would like to ask all members of this club to commemorate Miss Dorothy Clinton with their thoughts and prayers going out to the mourning family, but also in giving the best on the fairways and the lectern. I can see that this meeting will be very special indeed. Many thanks go ahead to Roman Nisi for organizing it diligently again. And although we are sad, I wish we can enjoy ourselves, handing the word back to our Sergeant at Arms, Peter McGraw.
Thank you indeed, Mr. President, and it's great that you can send in a recording in your absence, so much appreciated. Now, just to describe my role for those that may not, and I see we have a couple of guests here, Alex and Alan. I think Alan is a guest as well. Elaine, or I hope that's the right pronunciation. But my role as Toastmaster is it's like a chairperson of a meeting. I'm the conductor of the orchestra, and hopefully the meeting will flow as per our agenda, and that is my hope for tonight. And within that team, I have a team with me to carry out this meeting. We have various role players, and the first part of our meeting will be prepared speeches, and then after a short tea break, we'll have a tabletop impromptu speaking session where we get to think on our feet. So our first person up is Pascal, our grammarian. And Pascal, can you explain your role, please? And the word of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. So as grammarian this evening, I'll be listening to all speakers and watching out for use of language. And I'll be watching out for ums and ahs. And I'll be also taking note of interesting phrases or sayings, and I'll be reporting back on those later on in the meeting. So our word of today for this meeting is ability, and a brief description of ability is competence in an activity or occupation because of one's skill, training, or qualification. And I'm also going to put that word now into the chat, and I would urge people to use the word ability as much as they can during this meeting.
Okay, thank you, Pascal. That's great stuff, and I hope I have the credentials to carry out this meeting to the best of my ability throughout my training that I've received in Toastmasters. So now our next role player up tonight, and timing is very important in life, and especially when you're given a slot and you have to fill it within a certain time. And our timer tonight is Peter Macaulay, who is also double jobbing as Sergeant at Arms. So Peter, can you explain your role, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially for our guests. It's very important that speeches are timed properly. If your speech is too short, you fail to get your message across. And if your speech is too long, you tend for your audience to lose interest in your speech. So the ideal time for a speech in Toastmasters and for anywhere else is 5 to 7 minutes. And then, so for tonight's speakers, 2 speeches, down 5 minutes, they'll get the green light. At 6 minutes, they'll get the amber light. And at 7 minutes, they'll get the red light. And the red light will stay on until they're finished. And in the evaluations, again, the speeches are between at 2 minutes, they will get green light. At 2 minutes 30, the amber light. And at 3 minutes, they'll get the red light. So that's my role for tonight. And I shall put the times of the speeches and the evaluations in the chat.
Thank you indeed, Mr. Timer. And it's a bit like playing golf. If your timing is off, your ball will end up in the rough instead of on the fairways. So now our next section of the meeting, we have a Mr. Motivator within our club. And he is Mr. Sean Dewan, and Sean told me during the week he wouldn't be here, but he has sent on his recording. So Mr. VPE Ronan, can you play the recording, please?
Okay, here we go, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm absolutely delighted to be here. To talk to people in the long grass. And in order for me to keep out around the corner at the tee box, you need to have confidence to deliver a great shot of the tee box. But prior to doing that, you need to have plan and be aware of 3 things. One is patience. Number 2 is persistence. And the third one is practice. Now, golf is a challenging project, as is every project we take on, whether it's in business or otherwise in our life. And my solution to challenging problems is very simple. I call it the banana project. And the banana project means that you take 50 pieces at a time when you have a challenging project. And the banana I put up in small pieces to show people exactly what I'm talking about. You can see this here, and that's the way you deal with a challenging project. Now, the mistakes we became off. And they can be painful, but nevertheless, a collection of mistakes leads to experience. And what does experience lead to? It leads to increased confidence. So let me summarize. Start by doing what's necessary. Then do what's possible. And suddenly you'll find yourself doing things that you thought were impossible. And remember the magic equation. The magic equation, which is, and I'm just going to repeat them. Number 1, patience. Number 2 is perseverance. And finally, number 3, which is practice. Practice. And I have a warning for you all this evening, and that is, do not strive for perfection. Why wouldn't you strive for perfection? You wouldn't strive for perfection because it doesn't exist. So you'll never be happy. But do strive for excellence. Do strive for excellence. And that will give you confidence when you're on the fairway. And finally, I just want to leave you with this thought, and it's a call to action. And it is this: the longer you do nothing, the harder it is to do something. I repeat, the longer you do nothing, the harder it is to do something. Over to you, Toastmaster Larry.
Thank you indeed, our Mr. Motivator, Sean, and always wise words coming from our Mr. Motivator indeed. And that is true indeed. If we don't practice our short game, we will go on to the tee to play around the golf, and you'll be scuttling the ball across the green, and you'll be wondering how come that's happening. So you must practice and persevere. Okay, let's move on to and I would like to welcome Mike Keenan there, a former member to us. See him there. And I also see another guest coming in here is Bhavaka. I think I hopefully pronounced that right. You're very welcome to our meeting here tonight. So without further ado, it's time to get our speakers up on the tee box. And our first speaker tonight is Ronan Nisi. And his speech is an interview for a golf role. And the interviewer will be Bridie Corcoran. He's from his Dynamic Leadership number 3, speech 2, delivering a social speech. Present a social speech of a type different than the speech delivered for the project delivers social speech number 1. So this is the second part of that. So with a speech entitled Interview for a Golf Role, over to you, Ronan.
Hello. Hello, Ronan. How are you? Very welcome. Ronan, as you know that you are here this evening for the interview for the role of Commissioner of the PGA Tour. Well done on making it to this stage. My name, of course, as you probably know, is Tiger Woods, and it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, thank you. Now, Ronan, it's going to be a standard interview where I will have a number of questions for you to get the full understanding about you and why you would be suited for this role and have the ability for it. At this point, I'd like to introduce you to my colleagues who are here with me. First of all, I have Rory McIlroy, and I have Jordan Speed. Don't know if you can see Jordan Speed, and of course, Shane Lowry. So they're here with me, and we have a number of questions that they might wish to ask you as well as we go on. Now, Ronan, if you're ready to kick off things, would you tell me or tell us a bit about yourself and a bit about your background, Ronan?
Thanks very much, Tiger, and good to meet you, Shane, and Rory and Jordan as well. So about me, I'm an Irishman, born in Galway on the west coast of Ireland, and I lived there for most of my younger years before completing a commerce degree in the National University of Ireland in Galway. And then I completed a master's over in Smurfit Business School in Dublin. So after college, I began a career in banking where I joined the Bank of Ireland on their graduate program. And then I specifically moved into business banking before moving across different divisions within the organization. So my experience has extended to retail banking, technology and customer solutions, as well as HR over the last 10 years. And outside of my professional career, I've held a number of leadership roles in voluntary organizations. I've also held some voluntary roles in DP World Tour events. So in my free time, I enjoy playing golf and everything about the sport. And being from Ireland, I've graced the same courses as both you and Shane and Rory over the years. But Tiger, in fairness, I do have a bit of catching up to do to get to your level now.
Thank you. Ronan, why did you decide to go for this role?
Right, Tiger. Well, firstly, I have a real passion for the game of golf. And the PGA Tour has been at the heart of golf over the last number of years. And in fact, I believe we're approaching the 100th year anniversary of the PGA Tour, where it was founded all the way back in 1929. I've paid close attention to how everything has transpired with your organization over the last while. And I feel that my enhanced skill set, experience and strengths, particularly around leadership and communication, I could make some positive changes in the organization, and I could help to restore the confidence and the trust with all of your players. I know, Tiger, you have recently joined the Tour Policy Board, and if I was the commissioner, I believe we would work well together and you could definitely trust me to have the best interests of the organization and its players at heart.
Very good. Being an organisation that depends on the high performance of its golfers and the tour management team, how would you approach the commissioner role at this in that regard?
Okay, so whether it has been in my roles in the Bank of Ireland or in my leadership roles in other organizations, I would approach this situation firstly with having a clear vision of where we would want to be as a PGA Tour. As well as that, I think it's important that we would set clear goals on how to get there. It's essential, though, that everybody is involved and aligned, so open communication is key. And I would aim to include my colleagues, obviously the players and my co-colleagues on the management team in terms of the goal-setting process, and I would seek everybody's input on the journey. An important part thereafter, Tiger, is really understanding the needs of the players, and some of the wants and needs may be as simple as just more money, while others could be more complex. But I would do my best to support all of the players, help maximize their potential and their ability, and endeavor to enhance their experience as professional golfers. So without the players, there would be no tour, and the value that you and the others bring cannot be underestimated. And it's essential that you have that platform to perform to the best of your abilities. So actually, a great book that I read before in terms of cracking the secrets of high performance is called The Goldmine Effect. And it was written by Rasmus Ankersen, where the author explored the environments of some of the world's best athletes and their approaches to the respective sports. He even included his findings on the studies on the rise of female golfers in South Korea. And one of the things he determined was that through a group culture of high performance that athletes were able to achieve, and there are actually many interesting lessons that could be applied to the PGA Tour so that golfers on the tour can thrive going forward.
Good, very good. Are there any other aspects that you would put a focus on if you were to be hired as commissioner?
Well, Tiger, there are also many opportunities for enhancing collaboration between the tour's partners and stakeholders. And especially, there are some tangible improvements that can be made in collaboration with the DP World Tour, among others. So I would really enjoy this aspect of the role, and I believe I could make a real difference here to enhancing and fostering that collaboration to the benefit of all tours and really maximizing what the PGA Tour can deliver.
Right. Well, we are now coming to the end of this interview, Ronan. But before we wrap up, would you have any questions for us, Ronan?
Would I have any questions for you, Tiger? As a matter of fact, I would love to know how you reach your dominant level, where you won 15 majors, 82 PGA Tour events. So tell me, Tiger, what is the secret?
Ronan, it's just one word, and that word is practice. Thank you very much, Ronan, for your time today, and we will be in touch with you soon. Thank you, Ronan.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Tiger, and thanks, Shane and Rory and Jordan. And I know, yeah, particularly you, Jordan and Rory, are stuck in the FedEx Cup playoffs at the moment. So for you taking your time out is very much appreciated. Best of luck over the rest of the weekend. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Ronan and Tiger, for that. And Tiger, take it easy driving that car down the road. Keep within the speed limit. So I'll give you 1 minute now for some evaluation. So Peter, will you give me a red light when the 1 minute is up, please? So you can send your evaluation directly to Ronan and maybe Bridie as well, or Aka Tiger. If we could put ourselves on mute, if there's background noise, please. Thank you. Thank you, Peter, for that signal. And we'll now move on to our next speaker. And our next speaker is Angela Avik, and it's from the Pathway. And all our speeches are from the Pathways program on Toastmasters website. And Angela is from the speech is My Leadership Style. It's from the Dynamic Leadership Project, Understanding Your Leadership Style. Share some aspects of a chosen leadership style or leadership styles in general. Discuss styles, preferences when working with others. How to adapt the chosen leadership style to any situation or leadership styles in general and how they impact a group. So our next speaker, Angela, My Leadership Style. Over to you, Angela, onto the tee box.
Thank you very much, Larry. Can I share my screen, please?
Have you sharing rights?
No.
Co-host. Can the administrator make her a co-host, please?
No.
You okay, Angela? Have you got it? Yeah, good.
You know. So the title of my speech today is My Leadership Style. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, today I want to share with you my leadership style, the value and the valuable lessons I've learned from its parts that I hold dear to my heart, and that's golf. Just as in golf, where strategy, focus, and perseverance are vital, my leadership style is rooted in these principles that drive both personal growth and effective leadership. I'd like to start with an opening quote. And this quote is from old Tim Murray. It says, "For true success, it matters what our goals are, and it matters how we go about attaining them. The means are as important as the ends. How we get there is as important as where we go." Much like stepping onto the golf course, a leader must have a clear strategy and vision. Just as a golfer visualizes the perfect shot, a leader envisions the path forward. My leadership style emphasizes the importance of setting clear goals, aligning the goals with the team, and charting a course to success. Focus and resilience. In golf, distractions can be detrimental to your game. Similarly, a leader must maintain unwavering focus on the end goal. My leadership style values resilience, the ability to weather challenges and learn from setbacks and keep moving forward. Just as a golfer adjusts after a missed shot, a leader adapts after a setback. Team collaboration is my third focus. Golf may appear individual, but even the best golfers have caddies, coaches, and a support system. Leadership too is a team effort. I believe in fostering a collaborative environment where every member's strengths are acknowledged, contributions are valued, and diversity of thoughts is embraced. Together, we drive towards collective success. Continuous improvement. Golfers are always striving to refine their technique. Similarly, my leadership style revolves around continuous improvement. I encourage my team to seek learning opportunities, welcome constructive feedback, and never settle for mediocrity. Just as golfers practice their swings, we own our leadership skills through practice and self-reflection. Adapting it to change. This is key in today's world. Golfers contend with unpredictable weather and course conditions. In leadership, change is inevitable and adaptability is essential. My style centers on embracing change as an opportunity, not a hindrance. We navigate uncharted waters with a positive attitude, learning to leverage change for innovation and growth. Leading with integrity. Golf is a game of honor, and I believe leadership should be characterized by the same integrity. I lead with honesty, transparency, and ethical conduct. Just as golfers adhere to the rules, I ensure that my team operates within a framework of respect, trust, and ethical behavior. In conclusion, my leadership style draws from inspiration from the timeless sport of golf. It encompasses strategy, focus, collaboration, continuous improvement, adaptability, and integrity. As we walk the fairways of leadership, let us remember the valuable lessons from the golf course, the importance of a clear vision, unwavering focus, teamwork, learning from challenges, adapting to change, and leading with integrity. Together, we can navigate the leadership course with the same precision, grace, and determination that defines a successful round of golf. I'd like to close with a quote from Betsy Rawls. It says, "I've always had a drive that's pushed me to try for perfection, and golf is a game that perfection stays just out of reach." Thank you.
Thank you, Angela, for that very picturesque, and you have a great ability to put slides and words together, so well done indeed. So another minute there now for feedback to Angela. So Peter, can you give me a red light, please? And that time is up. And Peter, if you can put the time of the two speeches into chat, please, for the evaluators to pick up. We'll save a minute there later on. Thank you, Peter. So the minute times are on the chat. Oh, okay, thank you, Peter. And we move on now to the evaluations, and every speaker has an evaluator in Toastmasters, and positive feedback is given and also some recommendations. So the evaluator for Ronan's speech is Linda Malai. So Linda, over to you to give your evaluation. Up on the podium there, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most importantly, Ronan. Ronan, how did I never would have guessed you were going for the role of the Commissioner of the PGA? So well done on a novel but yet interesting topics, considering most of us have an interest in golf. You were very well prepared, well organised, and I loved your choice of interviewer, Tiger, A.K. Bridie, and Rory, of course, Jordan and Shane on the panel. You gave a comprehensive report on your qualifications and abilities. In fact, I was very impressed by your professional qualifications. You gave your opinion of what you could bring to the PGA. And I learned even that I didn't realise that, for some reason, I didn't realise that the PGA was nearly 100 years old. You laid out your goals for the future of the PGA Tour, benefiting both players, management, and organisers, etc. Now, I'm going to move in straight away into my recommendations, Ronan, and you probably know what's coming. I would have liked you to have paused a lot more. You spoke very fast, so for the interviewers taking notes or whatever, and also for you to stress the point, I know I can bring goals and motivation back to the PGA. So I think that should have been a standalone question. So stop before you said it, say it slower, and stop again to allow it to convince the people direct eye contact. I know I can do it. And then secondly, I would have liked a little more a direct eye contact to camera. I know you were sitting and that made your gestures difficult, but what I found was as I was watching you, you were looking to camera, but you were also looking to the side. And I think to convince people you need a complete eyeball to eyeball effect, and you knew your subject. Then Ronan, I loved again the whole idea of the interview, the setup. You're well prepared, well organized. I liked your question at the end also to Tiger, and I liked the answer. And I know you prepared all of this yourself anyway. So I would say that you will give the PGA management, well, say a run, but I should say a putt for their money. Well done and good luck in the interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. And our next evaluator for the second speech of Angela is James Plunkett. So James, step on the tee box. Now is your time to have confidence to the fairway.
Thank you for the opportunity. And Angela, congratulations. Very good. I liked it. Let's just point out a few things so you might take into consideration for your future speeches. First of all, your open was good, it was brief, and that's what it should be. And you had some very good graphics with you today, very appropriate, right on golf, and everybody appreciates that. The body of the speech, you had a very good theme for the audience, and you combined the, your leadership style with your golf. And that's what we'd like to hear, especially a group of golfers. Now, your eye contact. You didn't have any eye contact. Why? Because you were looking down, you were reading from notes. And that is a no-no. Toastmasters, I've been in Toastmasters a few years. And I remember that was always the wrong thing to do, and that is to look down and read, because if you're going to give a read speech, now this is something that doesn't usually come along for quite a while when you're an advanced Toastmaster to give a read speech, and then they even recommend that you practically memorize the speech and not read it. So this is something you have to practice, and that is looking up. I have this problem myself. I have a camera on top of my screen, and I have to look at that camera, but I usually don't because I'm looking at my fellow Toastmasters. So you have to learn to give eye contact through the camera that's on your laptop or whatever it happens to be that you're using. Now, as far as gestures were concerned, you had no gestures. Now, and you're a golfer, okay? Now, golfers have quite a few gestures. At least they should be good gestures, but you have to use some gestures in your speech. Your voice variation, it was rather the same all the way through your speech. You have to have some pauses in there. This will attract the attention of the listeners. So be careful on that one. And in general, I thought it was a good speech. The topic was very interesting, as I said, but you've got to get your eyes up there so people can see you and see how lovely eyes you have, huh? Okay, so that's very important. Practice that the next time. Another thing, make sure that when you're sitting, that you're in front of us and not looking down at the audience. But right now you're doing fine. That's a good position you're in at the present moment, okay? So congratulations, thanks very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you, Jim, all the way from Peru. So with that, now, Peter, can we have the times, please, for the two evaluators? If you can jot them in the chat there, please, for the general evaluator to pick up. Now it's time for club business, and as we're running slightly behind time, I know you have up to 5 minutes for both the club business and awards, so maybe you can skim that down a bit, Mr. VP Ronan. So over to you, Ronan.
Will do, Toastmaster Larry. Make it as quick as possible. So first bit of club business, membership fee is €125. So that will be charged up to the 30th of September, and that will grant us all membership up until September 2024. So as soon as you get it in, you'll have just a little bit over a year of membership. Next bit of club business is Larry, our Toastmaster here, will be doing a session on parliamentary procedures. We haven't the final details of when that will be scheduled yet. However, it will be coming up soon, and it's definitely one not to be missed. I would really encourage each and every one of you to make that session if you can. Larry's a wealth of experience and knowledge in terms of the procedures, given his previous roles over the last while in Toastmasters. So definitely will be an education for us all. In terms of our golf society, so we've a few outings coming up. Our next one is on next weekend, in fact, on 26th of August in Cove. And the outing following that will be from the 21st to the 24th of April. And that's all the way over in Dusseldorf in Germany. So it would have been rude not to head over to the neck of the woods of our own president. So further details on that will be coming up soon. But there's also going to be a date proposed in late September for an outing in Kildare Golf Club. I had the joy and pleasure of being down in Kildare a couple of weeks ago with David Clinton and Peter McCauley. And I have to say it was a very enjoyable round. It was only 10 holes, but enjoyable nonetheless. And I was impressed to see, after hearing everything about the great Peter McCauley and all his birdies, I can assure you that is 100% through, as Peter came out, flying out of the blocks on the first tee, drive, bomb down the center of the fairway, and a 6-iron into about 6 inches. And he managed to make the putt too. So he kicked off with a birdie, started strong, and indeed he finished strong as well. So it was only a pity our own David Clinton didn't have his jigger anyway with him. It was laid to rest, as you all know, in Stackstown Golf Club on the 13th hole. But his mother, I'm sure, showed him the skills on how to use the jigger. So we know where that came from anyway. But anyway, further details in terms of the society outings, check in with our captain, Peter. Finally, just want to mention humorous and table topics. We're getting to that time of the year where it is contest time. So we will need to determine our own club contest date, and we'll be coming out to all the members very soon on that. There hasn't been a date arranged for the area final yet. They want all clubs to confirm their dates before they confirm that one. So our own one will be looking around maybe mid to late October, and then the area final should be around November time, I would expect. But anyway, further details on that will come very soon. In terms of the awards, over last month we just had the one, which is from David, a level 4 for engaging humor. But plenty more to come, I hope, over the next month. And thanks to everyone, as always, for your help and support and your drive and determination in the club. So plenty of ability and more to come. All right, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Ronan. And Ronan is our Vice President of Education, and he puts all the programs together for each month. So very much appreciated, Ronan, your continuous hard work. So with that, we're going to take a short tea break. We'll have it down for 5 minutes. If we can come back maybe at 18:48, we'll cut it by 1 as we're running slightly behind time. So turn on that kettle, put it on speed dial, and we'll be back here in 4 minutes. Thank you. Anyone wants to stop and chat, you can do that. Sure.
Larry, I just want to mention something that perhaps Peter covered it and I didn't notice it, but the golf outing in Cove in Cork on Saturday, the 26th of August. Well, I will be the host. I'm a member of Cove Golf Club, and it's well worth having a look at Cove Golf Club website, because on that website you will see the closest thing, not identical, but closest thing to a replica of the 17th hole at Sawgrass, where Pete Dye's course, as some of you will know, has a island green, at which one player in the history of that very big tournament called the Players Championship, I think he may have hit 13 balls into the water, or else it took 13 shots. Now I forget. I like that. I forget. And it's nicer to think of a professional golfer hitting 13 balls into the water.
Okay, I'd like to bring in Bavika here, please, and see if you can unmute there. And have you ever played any golf?
Larry, thank you for the invite this evening. Yes, I've been playing golf for the past couple of months, but I'm yet to achieve my handicap. I got a slight QL injury actually in the past couple of weeks. I haven't been able to turn my back, unfortunately, but what it taught me is that when you start golf, an important thing is also to look after your physique, and you have to get your gym training in as well, especially if you're doing twists that you're not normally used to doing. But I've really enjoyed it, and thank you, Ronan, for the invite this evening.
Yeah, that's true. You have to be physically fairly fit and do all the various stretches that you would normally not do. And I think down in Cove, where Paul is a member, we will be getting to stretch down there, because not alone will we be stretching Swinging Golf Club, but the views are just spectacular. And I expect we'll be twisting our heads back and forward. Wow, will be.
Where does Bavika, where do you play? Where, although you're suspended just now?
Yes, so I play locally at my local golf club. It's Pan's Hanger Golf Club in Welwyn Garden City in Hertfordshire.
Okay.
So it's a public course. But
nice course.
It's a, I would say, as a public course, it's very good. It's got a mix of different types of tees. So a good sort of practice course. But I recently played at a charity tournament at the Aldenham Golf Course in Bushey, in London, and I have to recommend that course because I played atrociously on that course on the competition day. But yes, I was really impressed at the how different golf courses serve participants with different challenges. So it's interesting.
The great thing about our club here is we have our social outlet as well as our Toastmaster meetings, and that's what I really look forward to and enjoy. And we've been over to Jerry Dunn there in Scotland on it. We're over there last year, wasn't it, Jerry?
Yeah. Memorable visit.
And we have been to Manchester, up to Nick Licani, so we're moving around. So Cove is our next outing. So you're very, very welcome here this evening.
Thank you.
And
I'll just say to Jerry, this is now empty 12 months later.
Well, you'll have to win again.
I will.
Okay. Right, Peter, you can start again, yeah?
So we can start again. And just before I hand you back over to Toastmaster, I've got 3 little jokes to get us in the mood for table topics. The first one is, I went to a local beekeeper and I asked him for 12 bees. And he counted them up and he gave me 13. I said, "Sir, you gave me 1 extra." And he said, "Look, that's okay. That's a freebie." These are man jokes. The second man joke is, what's blue and smells like red paint? Blue paint. And the third one, to really make you feel bad tonight, is, like yesterday, I got mugged by 6 dwarfs. Not happy.
Okay.
I'll pass you back over to Toastmaster.
You have the ability to be a decent golfer, but I don't know about the ability to be a comedian. So without further ado, we'll move on to the impromptu session. And I think impromptu speaking is very, very important. Anytime we sit for an interview or being asked a question. And our impromptu master tonight is the one and only Siobhan Keenan Fitzgerald. Siobhan is fresh from our TEDx talk, and also fresh from a refreshing holiday out in, I won't say where she was, but over to you, Siobhan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Topics or Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and very welcome guests. It's my great pleasure this evening to lead you all onto the topics course. I don't think we will have time for 18 holes or 18 topics or 19, but we'll get straight into it and see how we do. So first of all, I'll be calling on the people we haven't heard so much from tonight yet. My first topic this evening is, who would you most like to play golf with? And that goes to Paul.
The idea for setting up Toastmasters for Golf Club happened during the autumn, at a time when I wasn't playing enough golf. And during all that time, I thought I'd like to play with Roberto Di Vincenzo. I thought, I remember him from my childhood in the 1960s. And he was such a character. But I quickly abandoned any wish to play with somebody who'd passed away. And instead, I have been saying to myself for the last 2 years of the existence of this club, I want to play golf with Jim Plunkett. I want to play golf with Jim Plunkett for a number of reasons. There are good golfers in his club over there in Lima. And, you know, there's a good chance that if I was playing with Jim, he'd introduce me to some good golfers. The course itself is immaculate. Jim has already in the past given a presentation of that course here at our club meeting. But it isn't because of the quality of the course that I want Jim Plunkett's company. You will have noticed already this evening the voice of the man, the way it cuts through, the particular gravitas. Jim will be given a topic in a minute and you will see what I mean. But the gravitas and the little penchant he has for chipping in to conversations. Now, Jim has the ability to rouse an audience against anyone who cheats at golf. He has the ability to crush those who would oppose the spirit of the game. And above all, Jim Plunkett has the ability to buy me a decent wine in Peru. I look forward to playing with Jim Plunkett most of all.
Thank you very much, Paul. And I think Jim looks very happy too at the prospect of that. My next topic is good news, Jerry Dunn. They're going to teach golf in schools now. Well, just imagine. But what are they going to teach it instead of? Over to you, Jerry.
Well, that is a wonderful question. There are two things that tend to get neglected when there are cuts to the education budget. And those things are sport and cultural things, music, dance. And I wouldn't like to see any of those things cut. So if golf is being taught in schools, that is wonderful for the future of the game and also for the development of our young people, because I think we can all, I'm sure we all have learned from golf, and our young people will also learn lots of life skills from the game of golf. But I wouldn't like to see other things cut, because I believe that team sports can also teach us a lot. And it's a proven fact that musical education, which some people consider as an extra, is actually a great indicator of academic success. So here we are with the old conundrum of how we fit more hours into the school day. Now, it's okay if you live in Ireland because you have about 20 weeks holiday anyway. So I would imagine you could have a golf week at the beginning and the end of term. That would be in the summer anyway. So that would be good. In other countries, perhaps time is at more of a premium. But either way, I think it's wonderful that golf is on the curriculum. But let's not ditch any other cultural or sporting activities because of that good news. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Jerry. My next topic, as our Toastmaster said, I'm just back from Greece, and the average temperature there for the last while was 36 degrees. So I'm just wondering, what is the ideal weather for golf or for your favorite sport? And I'm going to give that to Pascal, please.
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. My ideal temperature for golf or really any sport would be, I think, around 20 degrees. I know my daughter just came back from her honeymoon in Italy, and it was 36 there, and they said that they couldn't cope. So yeah, I think 20, between 18 and 20 would be a good temperature. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Pascal. And I'm delighted to see two guests here tonight. You're very welcome, Alex and Bhavika. I hope I pronounced your name okay. And both of our guests have agreed to take a topic, which is absolutely brilliant. So, Alex, I'm going to come to you. And we heard lovely tributes, fitting tributes at the beginning of the meeting tonight to David's mother who passed away. I'm just wondering, Alex, are there any particular lessons that you learned from your mother that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Topics Master. Certain things I've learned from my mother. It's essentially listening to other people. I think, well, she showed me a great example of how you should be engaged into conversation and listen to people in the conversation and then asking proactive questions on the topics. And that makes a conversation really flowing and interesting for both people and as many people as you have in a conversation. But yeah, that's one of the lessons that I've learned. Another one is to always look upright. So no matter what you have in your life, what condition or what events, you always can look up, find something positive and work on that positive, and slowly but surely negativity will go away. And the final bit is never forget to travel, because travel is something that truly inspires a person if they're feeling down. That's all. Thanks, Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Alex. Wonderful to hear from you, and I couldn't agree more about travel. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to go to Bhavika. And Bhavika, wonderful to hear that you're beginning to learn golf. I'm very interested to hear, what has your experience been like so far?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. My experience so far has been a mix of good and bad. I would say the great thing about joining the sport is that everything in the beginning is so new, so you learn so many things. The first thing I learned was the equipment that I had to buy. So learning all about the different clubs, their usage on the green, and also all the terminology that's associated with golf. And it was such a nervous experience. But I was so fortunate, having joined the ladies section at my local club, to have such a great team around me, women who were so encouraging and educated me in every single game that we played. So I picked up a lot about the rules and the etiquette of the game, which was fantastic. Some of the cons, though, however, was getting used to the weather changes and knowing that you had to play whatever the weather, or if you didn't, then you're a bit of a soft person. The true golfers enter any sort of weather challenge and continue to play. So getting used to playing in different weather conditions was definitely a tough experience. To add to that, playing in a local charity tournament was extremely challenging for me, as I didn't have a handicap, so used the default handicap of 54, sorry. And I felt that gave me a nice crutch in the tournament, but entering the tournament, I played it amongst some fantastic players, and often I would feel a bit let down if I didn't hit the ball, or if my shot ended up in the rough, or in the bushes, or off the course, and that was quite disheartening. However, overall, I found that as I got myself involved in each of the games, I got better. My attitude changed, and I realized, actually, after playing amongst pros and well-versed golfers, that you can have as much skill as you can possibly have, practice as much as you want, but at the end of the day, there's a huge amount of luck also in the sport. So every day you can't anticipate what to expect. So that was something that was quite comforting, and that allowed me to enjoy the sport more. Golf is extremely forgiving, and it's one of the reasons why I love the sport. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bhavika, and hopefully you will love the experience of our Toastmasters for Golf Club also. Thank you very much, and wonderful to see Martin join us. Martin, you missed the first part of the meeting, but it's wonderful to have you here. And you're probably aware the theme of our meeting tonight is fairways of confidence. And I just want to ask you, Martin, with all of your golfing experience, how do you build confidence on golf fairways?
Yes, Madam Topics Master, possibly it's very much self-perpetuating. If you can start good, it's amazing. If you can start good. And the other point is that advice that I was given a long time ago, and when you look at our esteemed golfer, Padraig Harrington will have a bad shot, as Bhavika has just said. But he walks on to the next shot and the next tee with a big smile. That to build confidence, you just move on to the next shot. There is absolutely nothing that you can do with the last one. And you just, it is self-perpetuating. You build on it. And you let your mind ramble as well, as you walk from the shot to the next shot. But when you stand over that ball, then that is for that, it's only 10, 20 seconds. You totally concentrate on the task in hand, which is hitting that ball to where you want it to go. And then when that's done and your partners have hit, you chat about the weather or the world and its Rugby World Cup. And that is how I feel you can build confidence, with a mixture of concentration and then relaxing in between the shots. Madam Topics Master.
That's great advice. Thank you very much, Martin. That's wonderful. My next topic is going to go to Jim. Jim, lovely to see you all the way from Peru. I'm sure the weather's absolutely lovely over there as well. Jim, golf, as you know, is a 4-letter word. What's your favorite 4-letter word?
Well, you know, the funny thing is we happen to coincide, because my favorite word is GOLF. And the reason for that is that when I was a little boy, my father was an avid golfer, and he was a caddy when he was 14 years of age in New York. And then he went to work for General Motors, and of course they had a lot of competition there with tournaments for the golfers amongst the company employees. So he developed into a real, what we call a scratch golfer. He had practically maybe a 2 or 3 handicap or something like that. And I admired him. But you know what? Every time he asked me, son, would you like to go along with me? Have a tournament today. I was about 7 years old. No, thanks, Dad. I've got a program with my friends. Maybe the next time. So stupid. You know, the years went by. And finally, when I came to Peru and my brothers-in-law were golfers at a local club and they invited me, I said, hey, this is nice. You know, then I remembered my father and I decided to become a member. And I got into the game at the age of 43. Can you imagine all the years I wasted? Well, I've made up for it. I've become an avid golfer. I don't have my father's handicap, and I refuse to tell you what it is right now. But anyhow, golf has become my favorite sport and one of my favorite topics. So thank you very much, Madam Topic Leader.
Thank you very much, Jim. That's wonderful. Thank you. And unfortunately, we've come to the last topic of tonight. So travel was mentioned a few times there and the benefits of it. So I'm going to ask Peter. Peter, what is your favorite golf course in the world?
That is a difficult question. I haven't played a huge amount of golf courses around the world, but I have played plenty of golf courses here in Ireland. And my absolute favorite course is always links courses, because links courses, it's a different challenge. You've got, on a wet, windy day, you've got the challenge of the Atlantic Ocean and the winds that it brings and the rains. And sometimes you come in on the 12th hole, as we had to do down in Balmullet. But my absolute favorite course, and it comes to mind quite often when I play golf, is Merva in Donegal. So it's just outside Donegal town, but just about 2 kilometers inside Donegal town. It's a little bit sheltered, so you get the wonderful links course of Merva, a big challenge of the course. Yet sometimes it's sheltered, so you don't always get the really bad weather that the Atlantic can throw at the likes of Ross's Point or Ballyliffin or Lahinch. But best of all, when you come in, the one thing with Merva, because I remember playing it one February morning and was quite cold. Played reasonably well. I think it was about 94, 95. It was back when I actually played golf regularly, and I was young and a bit fitter than I am now. But I had a seafood chowder on offer in the bar. And I remember well because, number one, it was a straight €5. No, it was £5 back then. I said, that's a bit expensive, because this was probably around 1988 or 1990 thereabouts, still in the old money. But it came out, and I came out with 4 or 5 slices of beautiful homemade brown bread. And it wasn't just a bowl, it was like a pasta bowl of chowder that was freshly made. And right to this day, I can remember tasting every single mouthful. So as well as having a great game of golf, came in after the wet and the windy and the cold, you had this bowl of fresh fish chowder that warmed me up and kept Merva Golf Club in my memory for many, many years. And I have been back, and I hope to go back again in the next 12 months. So that's my favorite golf club.
Thank you very much, Peter. It sounds absolutely delicious. So with that, I just want to thank you all for your participation and your contributions. And I'm going to hand back now to the Toastmaster, Larry.
Thank you very much, Siobhan. And that was you had a great selection of topics there and great answers as well. And I would love to have Viveka's 54 handicap when I'm playing at times, because I am often in the bushes like behind me here. But yet I was playing off 13 yesterday with our seniors, and I happened to come first. So sometimes it goes well, and more days it doesn't. And well done to Alex also as our guest for speaking. And our thoughts are with your people, Alex, over in Ukraine as well. So with that, it's time. Peter is putting the times of the speakers in, the topic speakers in the chat. And I will be now call on the one and only Pascal Byrne, our grammarian for tonight. Step up on the tee box and give us your report.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Sadly, the word of the day, ability, didn't get a great amount of use, but we did have a few very interesting quotes. One from Sean at the beginning, and that was, the longer you do nothing, the harder it is to do something. And we had one from Angela as well, for true success, it matters what your goals are. So, those were two very, very apt quotes, and language and through the meeting was excellent. I don't think I put down any bad grammar or filler words or anything. So all and all. I think everybody was very, very good this evening. So back to you, Larry.
Thank you very much, Pascal, and thanks for that report. Now we head over to Scotland in the Highlands, and our very experienced Toastmaster and accomplished storyteller, speaker, Jerry Dunn. So over to you as General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Larry. And thank you to everybody who participated tonight in another fantastic Toastmasters for Golf round or meeting. And if I could just start with our Toastmaster Larry. The best thing about his performance tonight, in my view, was not something that he said tonight, although he said a lot of good things. It was something that he did during the week, and that was to phone me just to clarify our respective roles tonight and when he would be speaking and when he wanted me to speak. And I think that is a key aspect of the Toastmasters role, just to get in touch with the role players to make sure that everybody knows how the meeting's supposed to run. As far as the meeting itself is concerned, I thought it was a very smooth operation. He realized we were behind time, so he asked the timer to put the times in the chat. And he also brought us back to order when a couple of people had left their microphones on and were not muted when they should have been. So that was great. One small recommendation, there were some difficulties with the names of our guests. Larry didn't seem to be 100% sure. I think it's fine just to say, how do you pronounce your name? If it's for the first time, I don't think anyone would object to that. And it's nice to get the names right. So moving on to our Wordmaster Grammarian, I thought it was a great word, Pascal, ability, and it's something that should be appropriate to our theme at whatever level we're performing at. He also gave a nice report with some good uses of grammar. I must say, I find it surprising that there was nothing that was even questionable to report on. So that's the only thing. I think we're very good at reporting on good uses of grammar or interesting uses of grammar, not quite so good in picking up on things that perhaps could be better. Moving on to our timer and Sergeant at Arms, Peter, multi-role player tonight, Peter Macaulay. So I really liked his scene setting with a very nice tribute to David's mum. I thought that set the tone for the meeting very nicely. He was also right on top of the timer's job, and miraculously we're almost back on time. So a great job there. He also was our self-styled joke master, and I have a specific recommendation for him in this regard. Peter, do not give up the day job. But in terms of our evaluators, Linda has had to leave, so she's not with us tonight. I thought her evaluation of Ronan's speech was excellent. She also gave positive recommendations as to how he could have improved his presentation, the pauses, and emphasis that he could have brought to it. And she also said he could have improved his eye contact. And my recommendation for her is she could actually improve her own eye contact, because I certainly didn't feel she was always looking at the camera during her evaluation. Moving on to Jim Plunkett, his evaluation of Angela started positively, and sometimes we feel we don't give enough recommendations to our speakers. That certainly wasn't the case with Jim. He gave so many recommendations to Angela that I found myself unable to keep up with them. And I think it could have possibly been encapsulated in the fact she was using PowerPoint. So it's great to give recommendations, but perhaps in Angela's case, the issue was the set of clubs she was using tonight, because we all know that there's no doubting her ability. So perhaps wrap up those recommendations in one or two so that the speaker can work on those particular things. Our club business, thanks to Ronan for truncating that, because we were a little bit behind time. And finally, our table topics master, Siobhan, a wonderful, the proof of this pudding is in the eating, and it was a wonderful session. So her theme of which mostly golf related, which is appropriate, and it got some great topics, I'm excluding myself, of course, from our speakers. And she also did the most important thing in table talks by concentrating on people who hadn't spoken much or at all in the rest of the meeting. So that was the key. If I wanted to be picky, I might say, and this is really more of a point for discussion, that if you name the speaker first and then give the topic, which she did some of the time, then everybody else can just relax. And whereas if you name the topic first, everybody's saying, oh, how am I going to answer that? So that is just something to consider. But in keeping with the rest of the meeting, it was a great table topic session and a wonderful meeting overall. So I'd like to hand back to our excellent Toastmaster, Larry.
Thank you, Jerry, for that wonderful, comprehensive, dynamic evaluation, as always, and great recommendations. And just to welcome our Martin Farrell, I didn't welcome him when he arrived, as we were in the middle of topics, but the president of Ashbourne Golf Club, Mr. Martin Farrell, you're very welcome indeed.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you indeed. I'm not sure what age David's mother was.
Yeah, according to the paper, 96. Peter McCauley was saying 95. But
95 in her 96th year.
And I've just come from a funeral of a 94-year-old lady, and the instructions were from the family. She was very flamboyant and colourful dressing, that everyone attending was to be dressed in bright, cheery attire. So I made the effort and put on the pink, and so she was 94. So
very good. Thanks for that, Martin. When you're coming to mine, you can bring your golf clubs and have a game of golf for my honour. I think going back to David's mum, Dorothy, and I think she will be very proud of this meeting, because in the WhatsApp group, David described her as a creative writer and a storyteller. And I think our meeting tonight was fitting in that way, because I think there was some very creative writing done in relation to the speeches and great storytelling by everybody that took part. And I'd like to thank you all, and maybe honor this meeting up to Dorothy, and hopefully she's happy where she is now, back with her late husband, Mark Clinton, who was a minister for agriculture here in Ireland. He was over my department for way back in the 70s, and she was a great woman. She kept the political scene going as well as rearing a large family. So I think women always say they can multitask, and they sure can. So God bless her, and may she rest in peace. So with that, I think we have another small recording to play. Thank everybody for helping out tonight, all my role players, and each and every one of you, and Alex and Babika for coming along as guests. You're more than very welcome to come back again. We'd love to have you back. So with that, I'm going to leave it at that and close the meeting. And Ronan now is going to play a recording, I think, from our president, the final word. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Okay, here we go.
It's going to be a very special evening. So thanks to everybody who contributed for this magnificent evening. Well, thanks to the speakers, Roland Nisi, Angela Fiege. Thanks to the Toastmasters of the evening, very nice. I'm sure you did a perfect job. Thanks to our general evaluator, Jerry Dunn, to the evaluators, Linda Miller and James Plunkett. Thanks again to Roland Nisi, who put up this program again. Thanks to the Marian Pastor. Thanks to Shiva Fitzgerald, who built this again as a company master. Thanks to Peter McCauley, who did a top job this evening. Very special
Okay, I think the sound wasn't great in that, was it, Ronan, or was it had everybody the same issue?
Wasn't it's quite low.
It was low, yeah, because I couldn't hear him too.
Okay. In pure parliamentary terms, the meeting is adjourned, and we'll meet again on the 3rd Friday of September. Thank you.
So now we can talk about how we can learn. Now we can talk about how we can learn to find a way of getting the videos to come through on screen as well as we're coming through. So
well,
we have,
of course, that might just have been Tommy fading away himself, because he looked absolutely exhausted. Maybe he's done a 24-hour shift in the hospital.
Stop the recording there, Ronan.
yeah.